Erie's own Government Access, Channel 9, from the City Hall Council Chambers. It's time once again for the Taxpayers Hotline Show. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your host.
Hi, this is City Councilman Kaz Kwiatkowski, and we're here for another hour of Taxpayer Hotline. The number's on the screen, 870-1284. We're live at this present time on Monday, February 24th. We'll go to our first call. Go ahead, caller.
Yes. Did the council president have the option to move the citizens to be heard to the end of the meeting? Is that totally his decision?
No, we had to vote on it, and the vote was at the meeting was 4-3 in favor.
In favor of moving it?
Well, what they did was, I haven't seen the final draft of it. The way it was worded was, and explained, was that if you have an item that appears on the agenda for that meeting, you'll be able to talk in the beginning of the meeting for the 5 minutes. But if you're talking about any other subject other than what's on the agenda for that night, you have to wait to the end of the meeting.
So as soon as someone starts, if they start with an agenda item and then change to a non-agenda item, then the president can cut him off.
He can, but it'll be interesting what's going to happen. There were 3 of us that voted against changing the way it is. Yeah, I voted against it. I didn't think it was a good idea. I think, we need to be very transparent in government, and I thought that it was a bad idea. That I have no problem with people addressing us, and if they stray off, as long as they're talking about city business, I have no problem. If they're talking about something that's not in our realm, then I think this is not the appropriate forum for that. If you want to talk about, any citizen, someone could come up and they could be elderly, or they could be not very mobile, or might be catching a bus or something. But if they want to stop in and they got something that concerns city business, I have no problem with them speaking at the beginning. Yeah, to me, if you want to cut them off, you cut them off when they start talking about either county business or business that, things we can't become involved in. We have no, input into. Like when I was at the school board, we didn't, if you start talking about city council business or county council, they'd shut you off. Because, it's a meeting about the school board. Our meeting is about, city business and, city hall and city council business. How do you feel about it?
I would like to see it continue at the beginning of the meeting.
Yeah, it still will, but if, if you're not going to talk about and this is what I have a problem with. Not everybody knows what's on the agenda. A lot of people aren't very mobile, and a lot of people do not have computers where they can access it online, Yes. So, it will pose a hardship, and it'll be interesting, and, like I say, we'll be up to the president to control the meeting. But council voted on it, but it was 4-3. It was a close vote.
So, and then if they talk on agenda business, they're probably only allowed to speak one time, aren't they? They're not allowed to come back at the end of the meeting and talk about non-agenda business.
Now, that's an interesting question. That wasn't addressed.
Isn't it? So that's kind of ambiguous. It's not clearly...
You know what? I'll bring that. I'm glad you brought that up. That's something I didn't think about. I can't imagine anybody's going to want to stay at the beginning and the end both sometimes. But, I'll ask that question. Can you address twice?
That may be up to the president then.
Right.
His discretion.
Well, those are something you should really have in writing.
Yeah, it should be in writing. That's true.
Yeah, because then it removes all doubt. Usually, you get 5 minutes to talk and that's it. So that'll be I'll bring that question up at the next caucus meeting.
It'll be too difficult to probably
Monitor.
to have someone counting minutes if they talk 2 minutes on agenda business and then try to come back for 3 more at the end of the meeting.
Right. I think you presently get 5 anyway.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'll ask him because I could see that being an issue.
Yes, it could be a problem. Then you could have an argument with someone who wanted to speak a second time on non-agenda business.
Right, because normally the way we handle it in the way it was for years, you had 5 minutes, so that was it,
Yes.
Well, you talked about, you had 5 minutes to talk about whatever you wanted.
Okay. So that was voted on somewhere in the middle. I'll have to rewatch.
Yeah, it was, let's see, would have been, it was after the vote we took, the early votes where we used the tote board and everything. So, yeah, go back. It should be it would have been new business.
Oh, and that did not use the tote board?
No, it didn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kaz. Have a good day.
Yeah, take a look at it. Actually, no, wait a minute. I'm wrong. It would have been, it would be in the beginning of the meeting, but watch, I think it was like the 4th or 5th item.
Oh, you mean it was getting toward the...
It was towards the start when we started voting, so. Yeah, because that had to be voted, that's right. Yeah, I mean, it was an ordinance. It wasn't a resolution.
Oh, it's an ordinance? Okay.
Yeah, if you want to call me after the show,
Okay, Kaz.
yeah, I'll try to tell you where it was on the agenda, exactly.
Okay.
I'm thinking...
Is the printed agenda usually available just before the meeting?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's on the website. That's what they told me.
I mean, for those who don't have a computer.
Oh, well, the only way you're going to get that, you can come down to City Hall and they'll have it available.
Only just before the meeting starts?
No, it'll be, I think it's there a couple days before.
Is it? Oh.
You know what? I'll find out when it's available to the public. The exact day.
And where?
Yeah, because we get it, council members get it online and in the mail, but we've been doing more stuff online now.
Where is it available? In Jim Clem's office?
Yeah, it'll be on the counter.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, something tells me it's available that Monday.
Oh.
The Monday of the meeting, but I'll find out, and I'll get, when you call me, I'll give you it, then I'll also put it over the air next week so everybody knows.
Okay. Okay, Kaz.
Okay? I'm glad I just want you to know I wasn't in favor of moving it though.
Yes. I would expect that you would go along with it.
Yeah.
For the taxpayers. Okay, thank you, Kaz.
No problem, thank you. Getting back, well, I was going to go over the rules real quick. You can talk about any subject you want today. Feel free. Just try to keep it clean and not to get personal where we have to cut you off or anything. Go ahead, caller.
Yes, I just had a wonderful thing on the computer come up.
What's that?
That the Convention Center Authority has to get a $3 million bridge loan to pay for engineering and architectural renderings for their new hotel.
Well, whose butt are they going to butt up to this time?
I got a good idea where to go get the money.
Where's that?
The bank.
Oh, okay. I know. I think I know where you're going.
Yeah, and Cass.
Who's going to guarantee that loan?
Yeah, I don't know. And it just came up. I was on the computer. It'll be in the paper tomorrow. But see, they don't have any money to be fooling around with a $60 million project. They really don't, Kaz. And no one gets it. We're on the hook for so many things that they do. Really, all the Convention Center Authority to me is they run a whole bunch of state-owned buildings and charge them a fee. You know, that's the simplest way to put it for me. You know.
Well, you know what? Most of the authorities that I've seen around the country, they deal with the things that private business wouldn't build.
Yeah.
The arenas, the convention center, the arts theater. Very few of them.
Where do they lose me? I'm just not.
But very few of them. Would you agree? Very few around the country ever get involved in hotels and things that private business would normally do.
It's so competitive to private industry. Next thing they'll be opening McDonald's and stuff.
Well, I use the analogy that Erie's a town of about 105,000,
right?
Maybe a little less. Yeah. The metro area is about 280,000.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think the odds are that we could get a Ruth Chris Steakhouse here?
Slim and none.
And Slim left town, right?
Slim left town.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, Now, what if we woke up tomorrow? I thought about this. Think about. I'm a man of vision. Do you believe that?
I do.
I want my name to be on the plaque too, like some of these prominent people of vision that the paper loves.
Oh yeah.
So here's what I propose. I propose that we build an 80,000 seat stadium and try to get the Steelers or the Browns here.
Oh yeah.
And guess what? The county can underwrite it, and the state can give us the money, and then we're going to have a Ruth Chris Steakhouse.
Yeah.
And what else? What else would you like to see?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe we could have a Tiffany's down there,
Yeah, we'll get a Tiffany jeweler, right? And we'll subsidize their business.
Sure, and
we'll make what do you call it, Mr. Dahlkemper and a few other people that, community members that have their own business.
Yeah.
Or how about if you're Mr. Ricardo and I say I want to put a Ruth Chris right next to his business and we'll subsidize it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
How do you think? How do you think they would feel?
Yeah. I mean, and authorities have become like the fourth branch of government, except they're not elected.
No, and they're getting to the point where, people moaned about how much the mayor got in his salary.
Yeah.
But he runs a city.
Oh yeah.
Jay Badams runs a large school district.
Yeah.
And these guys sometimes run little empires.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But Jack, yes, and I don't have anything against Roger Richards at all. But I'm tired of hearing his name about every darn thing that goes on in this city. And I don't think I'm the only one that feels that way. Is Roger Richards the only man with a creative idea? Is he the only bright person that lives in Erie, Pennsylvania? He's a lawyer and he owns businesses. I don't know how he has time to devote everything that he devotes to the convention center without getting compensated somehow. And just think, Cass, maybe he does get compensated somehow. We just don't know exactly what it is.
Well, I have no trouble when government gets into, I'm one of those that know that private business is not going to build an arena. They're not going to build convention centers. Maybe in the bigger cities like Orlando or San Diego, but even there, they're run by authorities.
Oh, yeah.
But in Erie, you're not going to, they always brag about, when they pay off their debts and loans, they're paying that with money from the casino, with money from the room tax.
Oh, yeah.
Because I have a funny feeling, I haven't seen one lately, but a few years ago, their operating budget, was operating at a deficit.
Yeah.
That's why they needed,
Oh, yeah.
But, hey, it's good. The things they're doing are good and positive. But when you get private business that wants to do the same things, and everybody's saying, well, Nick is not building it fast enough. I'm not a Scott fan. He didn't pay me anything for this endorsement. I don't work for him. But, it's a lot easier it's a lot harder when you put your own money up on a project.
Yes, I got to run though. But Kaz, I got a good idea for you.
What's that?
On the next agenda at City Council, we're going to take $3 million out of our water reserve account.
Right.
Lend it to the Convention Center Authority.
Well, actually, we did lend them 2.5 not too long ago.
Yeah. mean, it
Yeah, but
ends up to $6 million they owe us.
Yeah, they forgot. That's why I said at the last council meeting, at the end of it, I said, they have short memories on who subsidized their losses many years ago.
Yeah.
You know, the parking authority come up with matching funds so they could build their ballpark.
Yeah.
They forget all those things.
They do.
Because right now the county, they got to kiss their behind.
Oh yeah. But listen, Kaz, I got to run. I'll let somebody else call.
Okay. Hey, thanks for calling. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Well, he's very vocal, and I can't blame him one bit. Go ahead, caller.
Did I hear the last gentleman say that the convention center was going to approach the city for $3 million?
No, he didn't say that. He said...
Well, that's where he knows it's coming from.
Well, he didn't say that, and that's why I wanted him to go and elaborate. I said, who are they going to have underwrite that loan?
Oh, you got it from me, the other horse.
Well, if it's us, you know what? I won't settle for a lousy $65,000.
Well, you know...
You know, I'll tell you what. You know what? At my age, I don't have to impress anybody. Okay.
True.
You know, and if they want that, if they want to deal with us again, they have short memories. You agree?
I know it.
I mean, you know, years ago when they came to us every year for $1 million or $2 million to underwrite their losses, you know, we ponied up. When pro baseball was in town, it was a school district that was, you know, giving them Ainsworth Field, not the authority.
That's true.
But pro baseball. Then they moved downtown, and they have their big grand opening there. They never invite the school district.
No.
And then they needed to build a ballpark. They needed matching funds. The city couldn't give it to them, so who do you think did? The parking authority. So they had to build a ramp that...
The convention center is going to come and ask the city for money, on one hand, yet on the other hand, the resolution council just passed to seek state grants. Casey Wells says he'll give $600,000 from their authority to back getting some of these grants, because you got to have matching dollars. Then you got a private entity over there, reinsurance, building that 1,000 space, and Sandberg says, well, they're going to take that $11.12 million that costs to build that and use that as matching funds to get a grant from the state.
What, that 1,000 parking garage?
Yes.
That's if the state accepts it.
Well,
why would they?
They're going to let private people go in there other than employees, and she thinks that this will be...
Well, they're doing it probably more for like civic center events.
Yes.
Because you lost all your parking for the civic center, basically.
Right, but you know, the whole thing here is they didn't even look it up correctly for the CRIS for the Scots. They didn't let the right person, they didn't form another authority to make the application.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's just a total spin. It's from one to another.
I'm going to ask a lot of questions because, you know what? I am not anti-moving the town forward.
Oh, I'm not either.
But I hate when people sit there and mock us when they say, we didn't have any... why didn't we get part of that? You know, why didn't we get consideration?
But you didn't have any private entrepreneurs that want to come in and use their own money.
Yeah, in the past they used our money. You know, we lent them 2.5 for a project out of our water reserve a few years ago.
Oh, and we haven't got a nickel from that.
Well, actually, they did start paying.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but they're paying. Remember this now. A lot of their money comes from many sources too. You got the room tax and everything else.
Yeah, you have the big tax and all the others.
Yeah, how do you like my idea, John? Here's what I propose. We're going to put a Ruth Chris steakhouse in here. We'll subsidize it. Then the one gentleman wanted to see a Cartier jeweler, and maybe we'll build an 80,000-seat stadium in the hopes we'll get maybe Buffalo to come here. What do you think?
Well, maybe we can get a hold of somebody up in the New York area, because New York's offering a 10-year alerta, and they're going to even help the people build. Have you seen that ad on their paper, on the televisions?
No.
Yeah, they're offering businesses coming to the state of New York. They'll get a 10-year alerta, and they'll even help them get the money.
Well, that could affect a lot of people in Bradford, Erie area.
Well, that's true.
It's only a short haul to the border, like in Bradford, Erie, up along the northern tier of Pennsylvania.
So how's everything up in your area going?
Well, not too bad. What do you mean?
You know, in the Mercyhurst area.
Well, it's been quiet right now.
They had their I don't know, it was a basketball game or a wrestling match down there, and they went and stole the frog at St. Luke's.
Yeah, it's funny.
And they found it in a Mercyhurst ravine up there.
Yeah, it just mysteriously appeared.
I mean, of course they'll look into it like they look into everything else. So I think that Mercyhurst should build a new frog and give it to St. Luke's there.
Yeah, I would say, you know, if the frog ended up years ago, did I ever tell you a story, John, when I worked for the parking ramp, right?
Yeah.
Somebody pulled a parking meter right out of the dirt.
Mm-hmm.
They used to have like concrete, and they'd have them.
Yeah, I found one time, and I called down and had I think one of the guys that worked up there came and got it.
Yeah, it was funny though. This one was we got a call from Gannon to come down and pick up our parking meter, which was bothering them.
It was in a student's room?
No, it was well, pretty close. It was laying in the courtyard of the dorm.
Oh, yeah?
Right? So this priest meets me down there, and he's, I was there and another young man. It's when I was working my summer job. You know, I was a student too. And he's yelling at me like, hey, we got to get this out of the way. We got kids going to be walking through here, and I don't know who brought it. I says, well, I know who brought it. Look at the drag marks. You could fall where the concrete was dragged along the concrete. I mean, how many people are going to take it into a dorm area, right?
True.
It was pretty heavy. That's what probably discouraged them, or they got caught.
Well, I found when they unscrewed from the base, it was laying on the street.
Really?
Yeah, I picked it up and called Whitey, and he sent one of his guys up to pick it up.
Yeah, we used to find, the longest one we ever had to pick up was in Mill Creek. They threw it over a bridge into a creek.
Yeah, that's, it doesn't make sense. These kids today have too much time on their hands.
Yeah, that's why I'm laughing, yeah. Yeah, but all of a sudden the frog got found.
No.
Well, I'm no detective, but let me think.
It doesn't take 2 and 2 to add 3, does it? I mean, especially when it's found in a Mercyhurst ravine.
Which ravine is that?
I don't know. I can't.
Oh, that might be by the grotto.
Yeah, it could be there. Maybe over there by the Pokes Park over there, where the city doesn't have all that land, where they took care of it all. I think there's a couple of ravines over there.
Yeah, they're going to be. I thought of something good too. If these students want to help the neighborhoods, a lot of them are located along like 38th Street and Pine Avenue. Would be a nice project if they cleaned out the fire hydrants.
Yeah, well,
that'd be a nice gesture, wouldn't you think?
Sure. I watched all those handicap ramp slots in the middle of the medios. They were never even shoveled out them either.
Nah, they just.
It's just a ploy. Just like the mayor said, the city of crime is going down. Yet there's a shooting or a robbery every day. I can't see his question and answers in Sunday's paper. It makes me to believe he's still in La La Land.
I'll tell you what, the police are working hard to solve these things, but.
Well, sure they are. They have a tenfold more of crime going, and the mayor thinks the city is a safe city. One more thing before I leave.
Okay, go ahead.
Have you driven up Parade Street lately?
I know yeah, and it did. Let me tell you this: it's not like nobody here knows about it.
But it's like from 6th Street all the way up to 28th Street.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's a war zone.
The thing is, though, in defense of the guys, they are out patching.
Well, they don't have enough men to patch all over.
No, and the problem is, anything we do now is going to be.
It's going to go in and out because the holes are full of water.
Right, you can't. Yeah, you have to. Somebody said one day they got mad because the guys didn't want to work in the rain. I said it's not about not working in the rain.
You're batting your head against the wall.
Well, yeah, because that rain's going to freeze. That water's going to freeze if you don't clean it out.
Well, didn't we have a machine one time it ran by, I don't know if it was diesel fuel, like a flamethrower?
I think we do. I'll check on that with, let me check. We had one.
That used to blow out and dry the holes and they could fill them up?
Yeah, I think we did have one. I don't know if they whether they use it now or in the summer, but let me ask, okay?
Who needs to agree to run it now?
They called that let's see, that was the blacktop truck. But I know what you're talking about. It had that one tool in the back.
It was like a hot torch for like hot patching.
Right.
So
It's going to. I tell you, it's a real mess. Of course, I went through some private parking lots this weekend that were.
they're brutal too.
They were a challenge. Yeah, you look at, and then some. When you look at some of our streets up on the Upper East Side,
Yeah.
they were reclaimed. I think probably back when Joyce was in office. So they're starting to they're starting to show their wear.
All crumpling up because they didn't put thick enough blacktop when they were doing the job.
Hey, let me ask you a hypothetical. You're a pretty knowledgeable guy, okay? We got a problem, right?
Yes.
We got to fix roads. How would you do it?
How would I do it?
Yeah, I'm curious. I'd like the public to tell me.
I would not patch. I would get enough money and do the whole thing.
Okay, how would you do? Let me ask you a question. How would you prefer us to get the money?
How?
Yeah, I'm asking.
I wouldn't go for a bond issue.
Would you be?
I'd have to raise taxes.
So I like that idea better than bond issues. I think that if you explain to the public what it's going to be used for, and then you segregate that money, you know what I'm talking about?
You can justify it, just like with this overbalance of these unpaid garbage bills.
Right. You say, let's just say hypothetically, we say every year for the next so many years we're going to dedicate, and that means you can't use it for anything else. We're going to dedicate like $1 million or $1.5 million, whatever it is, and that'll be used for road repair. What do you think? You think the public would buy it?
Well, sure they would.
I mean, people know their taxes are going up, but if you say, here's what it's going to be used for, it can't be used for pay raises, it can't be used for buying trucks. This is going to be used for strictly patching the streets.
Well, true. It would save the people a lot of damage money also.
Well, sure. I mean, I got my vehicle's in pretty good shape, but boy, I'll tell you what, I was bouncing around pretty good too.
And how many accidents does it cause? That hit and run, what caused that?
And I'm not blaming our guys because they're working as fast as they can.
I can see they're patching. The state's trying to patch.
Yeah, it's a horrible winter, and we were hit, and I think, one day we're going to have to just, face the piper and say, hey, nobody likes to raise taxes, but...
Yeah, but look at the convention center's going to give $65,000. Maybe we can start using that money. Have a great afternoon.
Hey, how about that? There you go. Some of the private places dedicated money to patching holes.
Yes, just like these people dedicating money, like Gannon, so much money, Lecom, so much money, and they're telling you where to take that money. If they're going to donate money, it should go into whatever needs to be done and not signaled out.
I'm going to write a couple. I'm not going to tell you who they are because I don't want anybody, saying it can't be done. But I had read on the airplane once when I was. There were a couple of these big outfits around the country, John. They will give you money. Now, this sounds funny. They will give you money to patch holes or fix pipes, but what they want in return is like advertising.
Well, that's happening all over. Look down at the baseball stadium. Look at the Civic Center down there. There's hockey ring. You've got all kinds of advertising money.
Yeah, there's companies out there they'll do whatever, just like the bus company,
Erie Insurance. Look at the money they gave for the authority down there.
Yeah, I have nothing against that. If we have to put a sticker on our trucks or, right now, communities are in trouble. We need to look for ways to maximize.
It's true.
And everybody else is doing it,
Maybe we ought to have a city raffle.
Actually, a gentleman told me something the other day that made a lot of sense. He says, think if the government, it's almost like a quiz. It's the same concept.
Yeah.
You win the lottery, and you got to pay taxes, right?
Right.
How about if instead of the state taking that, well, I guess the state doesn't charge, I heard, for lottery. Is that true?
No, you pay tax.
Well, I heard they don't pay tax.
File it on your income tax.
Well, you're federal, right?
And state.
Well, I'm trying to find out the truth because somebody showed me. If that was possible, think if they allow you to use that money to, the state would say, you know what, we're not going to take it. You can take that money in your community. You can fix roads with it.
You look at the gambling place, the state's getting almost 60%.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like if you're playing cards.
Yeah, give us 20%. Or give us a portion for I mean, instead of just a host community.
Well, it's like if you're playing gambling in my casino, and I'm taking 10% for every hand that's played, or every one. Pretty soon, you know who's going to have all the money.
Yeah.
I mean, it's common sense. Oh, have a great afternoon.
Hey, you too. You going to call back later? No, probably not, huh?
Well, we'll see how it goes for you. If not, I'll call back.
I was supposed to have a guest. He backed out, though.
Okay.
But maybe next week.
Alrighty.
Hey, guy, talk on here. Guy, talk.
Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, Cass.
Yep.
Hey, what's the chance of having somebody from the streets department come on the show sometime? Talk about these potholes.
Well, I could ask him, you know.
Yeah, the potholes are all over.
Yeah, you know, it's not like the guys aren't doing any work, though, like we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
They're out, but you can't do them when the weather's wet because, you know, water's going to freeze underneath them again.
Yeah, over in Buffalo Road, east of Broad Street, that's terrible over there.
It's amazing. When I go to Minnesota, they don't get half the potholes we do because it stays cold all the time. We got this thaw. It goes off and on, the thaw, the freeze, the thaw, the freeze. It's been a brutal winter.
Yeah, it sure has.
And it's not only the city. If you go into like Mill Creek Mall or any of these private businesses, you're taking your car into huge risk.
Yeah, there's a big pothole, 10-inch one on 29th and Elmwood, just west of there.
Oh, 29th and Elmwood?
Yeah.
Where was it? I'll turn it in case nobody else did.
Yeah, it's just east of the intersection, or west of the intersection.
West of the intersection?
We measured it, and it's 10 inches deep.
Well, the one he was talking about on Parade, there were some pretty brutal ones.
Yeah, it's terrible. I noticed different people were driving on the opposite side of the roads, too.
Yeah.
So that could be a hazard, too.
Yeah, the trouble is, I mean, this has been one of the harshest winters in a long time.
Yeah.
And now the snow's melting. You almost wish the snow would stay down for a while.
Yeah. Have you heard anything about that trash on West 19th by Sass?
They're supposed to have cleaned. They didn't clean it up yet?
Not yet.
They told me that the guy that owned it, they had his name and they showed it to me. He was supposed to clean. I can check on it. He was supposed to have it cleaned up, or he was in the process of doing it.
Yeah, those couches and chairs have been there and tires for 5 years.
Yeah, they told me that when I went up there it was about 2 weeks ago and I didn't drive by there lately, but I'll go by there again. I mean, I'll take your word for it. I'll just go upstairs and ask him to check on what's going on with that.
Okay.
Yeah, he was supposed to have that cleaned up because they identified the owner. It's not his fault, but he said he was going to, clean it up.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, he was kind of appalled how it happened, but that can happen around the city because, if you got an empty field, like I had one next to my house,
Right.
it's amazing who turns up in the middle of the night. We used to get them at Sunday night. We'd get these builders dumping concrete at Sunday night, like at 11 o'clock in the summer.
Yeah.
Hey, that way nobody could see who they were.
Yeah, that's for sure.
It's bad, though, but...
Okay, guys, I just thought maybe you'd get somebody from the streets.
Yeah, I'll try. I don't, usually it's tough to get those guys, but I'll ask them.
Yeah, because I know, like in the past, sometime you used to call them on the phone, and if they can't come on the show, at least you could talk to them on the phone, and people could hear what they have to say.
Yeah, I can do that again. I'll have somebody here next week, and I think that'll be perfect. We can call them and see what happens.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Yeah, I'll kind of warn them that I'm going to see make sure somebody's going to be there.
Okay.
And the new guy we got is doing a great job. I think he's still on a learning curve, but we got to hope for warm weather, and then we get some hot patch on there.
Okay.
But hey, judging by my question, if we had to pave these roads,
Right.
would you be in favor of a bond issue or raise taxes and dedicate the millage to the roads?
Probably a bond issue.
You think that'd be better?
Yeah.
Most people like taxes,
Yeah.
but I'll put it down, and we're 1-1 so far.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, thanks.
Okay.
Yes. My turn.
You want to come up and sit down? Well, We have a guest. I'm going to just let him sit up here and let him feel important. We always like to do that to members of the public. But if nobody calls, you can answer a question here.
Okay, I'd like to know how many times was the garbage fees increased since Senate's been in office? It was done before.
Maybe once, but I can find out.
You had that time and this time, how much does that come to?
Well, here's the thing with garbage. I know it bothers people. It's not only about the 1.5. See, the 2.5 is the total, but 1.5 is old. Okay? 1 million is current. We don't know how much that's going to be paid, until that rolls over next year. No matter what we've done, either way we looked at it, and I used to see the tipping fees. I knew how much we were paying because I had to audit all those records. They were going up, okay? And even though, we got part-time labor, they get a raise once in a while, not often. Well, we use part-time labor. They're not. That's the cheapest way we can do it. We could.
But they don't have no benefits to pay for. Just
straight
cash.
But you still got fuel and the drivers I think are union though.
You think?
Yeah, I think the drivers are because that's the kids that work in the back. No, they're part-time, but the drivers we want them full-time. They're entrusted with equipment. So, they'd be regular, Teamsters. I'm pretty sure I can find out. And garbage was going to go up like the sewer. They'd be talked about the sewer. We haven't had a sewer increase, okay?
Yes, but...
And you got to remember this. The city, for whatever, over the years, expects the sewer department, they always make a transfer every year.
Right.
Okay? The sewer department's under a unique thing that they have to keep a minimal amount of money, per bond issues.
Right.
In escrow, basically. We just can't go in there and wipe out the whole reserve account. Okay?
Okay, now the water authority.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how come the city council don't take the water department over?
They could. I don't know if the will's there. First of all, here's what you'd have to do at this point. I'm pretty sure, reading what happened in other cities, you would have to assume all their debt.
Right.
Okay? You would have to take that all over. You'd have to reimburse them for, it'd be a complicated issue. Could be done.
Yes, but we just borrowed, $40 million for the improvement of the summer hang.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not even done, and that's not even running right. I've talked to people.
The water authority did that bond issue.
Right, so
okay.
if the city takes over, they assume that debt too.
Mm-hmm.
But we could have took it over before that happened.
Go ahead, caller. Go ahead, caller. You're on.
You're on.
Let me turn my.
Yeah, because you're hearing a delay. So turn your TV down.
Okay, I'm doing that. Okay, Mr. Kwiatkowski.
Yes.
Yes, these garbage bills. You as the controller for 12 years,
mm-hmm.
and these delinquencies have been going along for over 20 years,
mm-hmm.
and now you're speaking out. Why did you say something over the 12 years that you were the controller?
We did. We in every budget session. Every budget, every year we went over all the various issues. This is not the only issue. I brought up the issue about we're not collecting all of our income tax properly. This has all been done. It's all been explained. Council knew about it years ago. This is not something that came up as a surprise. They knew years ago that we had delinquent accounts. The idea about going after them was brought up many years ago. And each year that it was brought up, council at that time determined for whatever reason they didn't want to do anything.
You are the controller?
I was the controller, yes, and I did bring it to their attention.
Can I say something?
Sure, go ahead.
You were the watcher of the citizens of Erie money. You were the person that should have brought it out and made sure something was done. And what did you say? You never said a word until now. Now you're going to be a kingpin?
No, that's not true. No, that's not true. They knew about this. It's not like, you know what, all of a sudden the newspaper got a hold of this that, we have, and the true figure is 1.5 because we're still dealing with current money. So 1.5 became a big story in the newspaper. It's been going on for years. It was brought to every council at budget session. Every council, that was my job, to show them where the shortfalls were. And that was brought up. The paper decided not to carry the story. I can't control the media. I'm not a media darling. I never have been. All of a sudden when I'm on council now, and I'm up here on TV, now they pay a little more attention. When I was a controller, I could talk to council at a meeting. It never appeared in the paper. It's not like this is a surprise. They knew this. We've been talking over the last 12 years that I worked for the city as controller. They talked about raising rates on fire department for doing services. That was turned down. I brought up the issue about not collecting all the income tax properly. Nothing was done. We brought up the issue about delinquent accounts, and they looked at probably doing what we did for real estate, but they could not find anybody that wanted to take the garbage fees and a collection agency because there's nothing to bargain with. I mean, if somebody doesn't want to pay their garbage bill, all you do is you put a lien against their house. Well, about a year ago, actually less than a year ago, about 3 months ago, a couple attorneys and some DJs came up to me and said, there is something you can do. It's rather drastic, but you can take them to court and do more than just a lien. We can try to get their personal property. Now, I'm not an attorney, and I take advice. You're welcome to shoot me if you want.
Do you have an attorney?
But it's, huh?
Or do you have your attorney check out?
Well, he said we can do it. We can take him to court. We can take him, and that's what I said here at the meeting. I got to get 4 votes to go along with me to do it.
Well, how did we didn't?
But go ahead, sir. You got the form.
Oh, I have one more question.
Yeah.
Through all of this, I can't remember hearing anything about a fee for someone not paying their garbage bill. Is there a delinquent fee?
Sure. When they lien their property, it isn't just the fees, but the what do you call it? There are late charges and service fees that go on to that bill. That just keeps going and going. Now, here's the bad part about a lien, though. The gentleman that sits next to me, he's Joe Average homeowner. If he flips his house, we're going to get it. We're going to get the lien taken care of.
Right.
But if his property runs down and it gets to a point where we have to release all the liens and all the taxes, it's a no. This is why we got to do something more than just lien the property. We have to go after, in the case of landlords or property owners that own multiple, pieces of property, we have to go and get their own personal property if we can do that. Not just attach a property that they're renting out, but go get their house that's on, the one that's on Persimmon Drive on Fairview. Sir, I mean, the newspaper's been quiet for many years on this, and so has the media. But this year they decided this was a key story. But I want you to be assured that it's not like nobody knew this was there. This is not surprise. They knew this at budget sessions in the past. But none of us can control the media. I can go up to the media. I called them for a press conference a few weeks ago, and only one station showed up, and they put me on for about 2 minutes. So I can't control the media. And I don't have the same forum as a councilman. I have a greater forum than I did as controller. I can sit up here every meeting, and they got to cover it on TV. They can't take that away. But you have every right to be upset. But
okay, I think you're on the right track. I hope you can work with City Council and get this straightened out. But
well, it's up to us, and I think this council, I'm very impressed.
Set this up and
yeah, we want to solve it. We're tired of, we can't speak for other councils in the past, but these are new people on here, a lot of them, and we want to solve the problem because it's not fair to you. It's not fair to my mother, and it's not fair to all of us who pay our taxes.
Okay, I'm going to hang up and let somebody else get on. Thank you.
But thank you for your call, and hey, you know what? You're always welcome to do, I don't take it personal. You have every right to be mad, okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
My turn. Okay, there was 8,000.
Hang on, we got plenty of time yet. I think we do. Go ahead, caller.
Gaz, what are some of the proposals by City Council on collecting the garbage?
Well, the ones that we propose, and there's more probably to come, everybody was asked to put their input. Mine was basically, I look at two things. I see the only way that we can solve this is either, and other people felt, similar on a couple issues. One, we could put it back in the general budget.
Okay.
The bad part about that is that it affects everybody differently. If you got a higher priced property, you're going to be paying more a share of garbage than somebody that's got a lesser priced property. And in a lot of cases, some of the lesser priced properties are generating more garbage.
Right.
That's the pros and cons. But that way, if you put it into the general budget back again, if you don't pay your taxes, we can come after your home.
I see.
Okay, that's the positive there. My idea was, and I'm still checking it out with, I got a meeting set with a couple of people, and Mr. McGooey and I are going over to the courthouse to see how the lien process works. That gentleman that spoke at the last council meeting, I'd be in favor of taking some of the big ones to court and seeing if we can attach their personal property, not just the houses they're renting. Because these people that had, 8, 9, 10, 12 properties, let's go after their personal house. And then other ideas were maybe one billing that's come up in the past. That's why the previous gentleman, this is nothing new. We've talked about single billing, not me, but I mean other councils. When I was a controller, they talked about, because of the past due bills, about going to a single bill. Now other towns, there's a couple that we're gonna contact. They have a way that if you don't pay your garbage bill, they'll turn off your water. See the way our bill's set up.
Two separate entities.
Yeah, even though the same place is billing it, garbage and sewer are one bill. I mean, not garbage and sewer. Sewer and water are one bill. Garbage is a separate bill. This is why the ex-councilman Mario, when he said, well, you don't have to pay.
Right.
See, now if we can find a way to tie them all together.
I couldn't see council do that?
Well, we could, but we got to make sure we can do it legally. There are issues with the PUC and everything. We were told that by Mr. Wojtak, and that's why we may have to get our own attorney or work with the solicitor of the city and the solicitor of the water authority to find a way to maybe combine the bills. That was three of the most common ones. There's other stuff that people are looking at, like trying to get a collection agency. Those are tough because, unlike real estate, you don't have really anything you can attach.
No, if they collected, they owe over what, $2 million. Well, if they collected that,
it was 2.5, but for sake of clarity, 1.5 was considered old. And 1 million is current billing that, just like taxes, they haven't paid them yet.
If they collected even half of that, why would the garbage fee still go up?
Well, it probably wouldn't go up as much, but other things went up besides just that. I mean, tipping fees went up, and the cost of labor, the cost of fuel went up. Just same with the sewer. We haven't raised sewer rates, and like I explained, there's that reserve fund that kind of returns money to the city every once in a while.
And it's just like the city solicitor. He always says he's going to check on something. And
well, you know what? If he doesn't, I said at the last meeting, I'd be in favor. I mean, I can't do it on my own, but I will recommend that we hire our own attorney.
Because this should be a priority for the city.
Well, I think it's gotten to the point where, and like I told the one gentleman, this is nothing new. We've known about this. So, but now it's a tipping point, and I think the present council has decided that, and I'm hoping they follow through, that it's time to, like they say, get off the pot and do something, one way or the other. Let's do something.
I even heard different people saying the city's not going to do anything about collecting the garbage fee, so they're not going to pay their garbage. So you're going to have it additional.
Well, yeah, a lady said that publicly here at the meeting. She said, why shouldn't I do the same thing? And it's hard to argue with that logic, because if we don't make the attempt, now if we make the attempt and we can't do anything legally, then, you got to be honest with the public and say, there's nothing we can do. legally we can't do anything more than what we're doing. But I think we need to explore options. As I said, there are communities like Edinburgh to the south of us. They had issues with student housing. They tried stuff. They got taken to court. Some were upheld. Some were voted against by the courts. We got to do that. We got to start. There's other towns that have tried other things. And when you start getting to the point that, people owe money and they're not paying taxes.
Yeah, it gets kind of frustrating because I'm a landlord and I have all my taxes paid and I have inspections and everything like that.
Well,
I got cited this year because I had a loose screw in an outlet.
I can see that. That's a nice. You're probably. Let me ask you a question. I rented many years ago. Okay.
Right.
Now all the property's in your name, technically, right?
Right.
So these big-time landlords that say it's a tenant's fault, do your tenants pay? Do you put the garbage bill into your rent?
No.
You charge them separate?
No, I put it in the rent. Yeah.
In other words, the only thing they pay for is like gas and electric, right?
Electric, right.
See, that's the way I did it when I was renting, and I thought that was a fair way because, you know what? If you give people an option not to pay a bill and then you go, oh, it's not my fault, and you're a big LLC that's out in Fairview or Summit, with a fancy name, and they make all you landlords, the little guys that do it the right way, not look bad.
Right. And it's just like I was telling you, I called you earlier about the trash on 19th Street in
Right.
Sass. And, it's kind of irritating. That's been there for over 5 years. And when I had my rental inspection through Mr. Zimmerman's office, I got cited for a loose screw in an outlet.
Yeah, I've known.
You see couches all over the city.
I've heard some weird things that.
All kind of trashes. And then I'm a good landlord, and I had a loose screw. So it just, it gets kind of irritating.
Yeah, some of the stuff that people get away with, you're amazed when you look at certain properties around the city, and they're owned by, let's say, people that.
Baldwin Brothers.
Not only that, people that seem like they got some kind of, golden promise that they don't have to do anything, and then you see other guys, they're nailing them for
Nick and pick.
Yeah, a lot of the rules are for the good. Like proper exit windows, and those are all designed for the proper reason. Smoke alarms, nobody disagrees with that. People are saying, why doesn't the homeowner have to do it? I think that'll come someday. But my landlord was, he and I had a good relationship, and you sound like you're a pretty decent landlord.
It's just like this inspector. I told him, we went upstairs to the apartment. I asked him, I says, could I go out in the car and get a screwdriver and tighten up that screw so I don't get cited? He says, no. He says, I already wrote it up.
That's bull.
Yeah, there's kind of like, I'll probably get in trouble. I'll get in trouble for my comments, and that's okay.
You know what he said? I don't care.
Well, no, I'll say it because there's the intent of the law and the spirit of the law. If you're there and you're riding, you say, first of all, like a landlord, you can't go into the apartments all the time on your own, right?
Right.
I mean, anybody could. When I had my apartment, what's to say I didn't loosen up that screw? What's to say I took the battery out of the smoke alarm?
Right.
And if we're going to give landlords this kind of, peril and bull crap, then we're going to have to allow them to go into these apartments.
Right. I think that's why some landlords are getting irritated with these minor violations. And other people need new roofs and just all kind of electrical work. And
I think if you're there and you got a work crew, repair it right there on the spot then,
Yeah.
You can make a note, but not a formal citation, that.
Yeah, that's it.
My dad one time acquired a property which we got rid of. It was my grandfather's house. And the tenants that were in there, they were just amazing what they did. And yet, you as a landlord couldn't do much.
Yeah.
You couldn't go in there, you had to knock, and that's okay, but these people are hiding out and punching holes in the wall.
Yeah, I'm looking at one of my certificates now. It says conditional approval because of a loose screw.
And you were willing to tighten it right there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I sometimes you wonder, you know.
Yeah, that's for sure. Okay, Kaz, I guess I vented enough.
Oh, that's okay, but yeah, that's some of the major things. I'm sure as we go into, you know, further meetings, there'll be other ideas, you know. Everybody's looking at different concepts of how we can do this.
Right.
But I like your idea. You know, the landlord's ultimately responsible, so you know what? Put it into the rent.
Oh, yeah, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way I always did, and I didn't care, you know.
It'd be kind of stupid if you didn't.
Well, my landlord would come up to me every so many months and say, hey, you know what, I might have to raise your rent in, you know, a month or two and see how things are going. I understood that, you know.
Yeah, let the tenants pay for the gas and electric.
Yep.
Okay, Kaz, thanks a lot for your time.
No problem.
All right, bye.
Okay, that's vote on overriding the mayor. How come you didn't vote against it?
Hang on, I'll explain that. Go ahead, caller.
One comment.
Yeah.
Delinquent lists, or the delinquencies, the gentleman who wrote that story, he was delinquent on his garbage pickups.
Oh, yeah, that's
I won't say the name, but
I know, he's,
strange, isn't it?
well, it was a blooming revelation.
His right to know act.
You know, it's strange that, you know, they pointed out how many elected officials were there.
Oh, yes. And if the people don't know how to get it, they can go on the city's website.
Well, that might be the new list. I don't know.
Oh, no, you can go on the city's website, and there's a place that shows delinquent bills, garbage bills, and it will show them.
Are they updated or not?
Yes, they'll be updated every quarter.
Was the name in question still on there?
The name was still there.
Okay, because I didn't know if they updated that list, because we were told that after the proverbial
Ran down and paid it, right?
after the cow pies hit the wall,
Well, that's the way it always seems.
there was like $50-some thousand that was collected rather quickly.
I don't know. There was a councilman's name on there too, but I don't know if there's so many council people with that name.
Well, I believe there were 3 school directors, at least. Well, I wasn't sure about the councilman.
It's the councilman's name.
There was a county one?
Aren't other people, so I won't say it specifically was a council person.
And then there was various employees of the city and.
He's the new county council person.
Oh, really?
And he's gonna put it.
Oh, yeah.
He was on there, but he went down and made arrangements right away.
Well, he was making arrangements before that, I think.
You know, it's the whole thing. When you run for any office and you have any skeletons in your closet, somebody's going to find them.
Well, when we inquired into the payment plan, that to tell that other gentleman, there's like a payment plan. We're looking at that too.
That's true.
You know, how to expand that, or maybe having
over 10 years.
Well,
you know,
what sometimes they do is they have an amnesty period. See how much you can collect.
With 10 and 10 years and 11 years delinquency, they should say, hey, you've got 90 days to pay 50%, or we're going to do something. There's got to be better teeth in that collection agency.
Well, we're gonna, like I say, no, that can't be true.
Yeah, I told you.
John, he's giving me the 1 minute sign.
That's true, but you know, the biggest problem down there at City Hall for all the years, it's the bobbleheads that were sitting on that council. They couldn't see the trees before the forest. Have a great afternoon.
See you, John, and thank you for your call.
You bet.
Before we go off the air, you want to know why I did what I did?
Okay, yeah.
I never was in favor of that, number one. That was a previous council.
Now, the city council, I thought your name was up there.
Oh, yeah.
Back to mayor.
That's not back in the mayor. It's back in the spirit of, look, if nobody liked the idea of what we did,
garbage.
we could have taken care of that very easily during the budget sessions. Okay? You know, I think there was a lot of false hope that even if it would have rolled back next year, but then you got a problem. Where are you going to find the short money? Okay?
You have to find it somewhere.
Well, where are you going to find it? You know,
all of a sudden, look at the county council. All of a sudden, they found $700,000.
Yeah,
all of a sudden, popped out of the air.
Watching over the years and having been, I'm not new to raising taxes.
Well, I know, you've been around the block a couple of times.
When I was on the school board, you find out who has the guts when it comes time to vote on what are you going to do? Who are you going to cut? What are you going to cut? You know, the mayor, that's his job. And council's job is to approve the budget. Okay? That tax wasn't going away. You're going to have to find, where are you going to find the money? Okay? If you remove that, all right, some's got to go or some's got to come back. Budgets are very simple. You either cut your expenses or you raise your revenues. I mean, that's simple, but those are tough decisions. They're not easy. So, I mean, to me, they gave everybody a false hope. If you really were that upset about what happened, then don't vote on from the start. It's like I asked a question, and I'm going to ask you. When the streets become, bad, and they're going to be there.
They are.
Okay? Bond issue or taxes?
You guys just borrowed $8 million this 2 years ago.
Yeah,
that bond issue,
and it's gone.
Now we're happy all that money. That was supposed to be mainly for the roads.
Yeah,
and how much was done? Just 8th Street there from Pittsburgh Avenue.
$8 million is not a lot of money. Okay, it does seem like a lot of money, but when you get into building roads, that's a drop in the bucket. Okay, that money is going to be gone shortly. Okay, so my question to you, And when I was controller, yes, I saw the money coming out of there, okay? We got the bills from McCormick, we got the mill, our guys did some.
How many people do we have on our own to do the paving?
Not that many, but I can find out the exact number.
Wouldn't it be cheaper to have our own people doing it?
Yeah, but when you get into big projects, we don't have the equipment.
Like a street. Here's Prime Street, right here at State Street.
We don't have the equipment for that, no. I mean, we can do patching. We've done some resurfacing, okay? But when you get into a project of magnitude of tearing up streets, most communities farm it out, because they have the heavy-duty equipment, they got the experience, they got the manpower. And in the long run, it's cheaper. They're used to doing it. It's like, they're going to come in and they're going to do our guys can do, small-scale stuff. But when you get into big major stuff, like all these curb cuts, we couldn't do that. We've been constantly bidding them out. But so I go back to you. Ready? Taxes or bond issue? Think about it. Go ahead, caller. We're off the air technically, but go ahead. Go ahead. Oop, lost him.
You must be cut off by now.
Before we go off the air, give me your answer.
We'd have to go bond issue, if we can do, but we got too many bonds going on now.
So why not raise taxes? Like I said, and then dedicate the millage. Every year, dedicate.
Just for that Pacific.
We can do it.
Just for that Pacific.
Yes, we can do that by ordinance.
By ordinance.
We do it for our debt management for bond issues. A certain percentage of your taxes go strictly to retiring our bonded debt. Okay.
Right.
And that's voted on by ordinance. So now, my question again to you: bond issue or dedicated millage tax?
Millage tax.
Okay. So that's how I'm voting. Okay, but we'll see. Go ahead, caller.
This town sucks.
Well,
This town sucks. I like that guy.
well, you know what? With that's a good way to go off the air.
Whoa.
So I want to thank you, Ronnie, for showing up.
Okay,
You weren't supposed to be my original guest, but
Well, I fell asleep and I woke
That's-
up at
so with that, we'll see you and tune in again here next week.
Yeah, I'll try and make it down. I woke up at 2.
Okay, we're off the air, but go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have been watching the Taxpayers Hotline Show on Erie's own Government Access, Channel 9.